Hello, all my beautiful, amazing, dope people. How are you doing? It's your girl, Tina Marie J. I hope you guys are enjoying this Thursday. If you have not seen part one, this is part two of my video where I'm going to be speaking about the Carbonnation cult and just kind of comparing and showing you guys how even though one cult could be super extreme and then compared to another one, which is like super moderate to low level, they still are going to have similarities when it comes to manipulative techniques and narcissism. It's going to pretty much kind of like be very much the same. It's just that they are different levels of extreme. So again, if you didn't see part one, which I uploaded earlier today, make sure you go and check out part one where I do speak about it. I just really quickly wanted to show you guys. So I'm going to share my screen before I really get into my notes I have here for you guys. I want to show you guys this little video from 11 Alive News, which is out in Georgia. This is where Nature Boy was arrested out in DeKalb County. And let's see. I am gone. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you. All right, hold on. Here we go.
Eligio Bishop, also known as Nature Boy, is accused of rape and false imprisonment, along with other charges. Neighbors tell 11 Alive they're stunned by the allegations, but are even more surprised by what this group is posting online.
Its social accounts reaching tens of thousands of people on Instagram and YouTube. Joe Ripley, live outside the DeKalb County Police Department. And Joe, you got to speak to this group, the Carbonnation?
The Carbonnation, this is a group that says they abide by a different philosophy. Their leader, Eligio Bishop, appeared in court for the first time today since being arrested earlier this week at a DeKalb County home. And after a judge read out his warrants, his charges, he simply replied by saying, quote, outstanding. Neighbors there in that DeKalb County community are
He always says that,
tonight.
outstanding.
Mr. Bishop, good afternoon, sir.
Eligio Bishop saw a judge for the first time since his arrest earlier this week. His case now lies in the hands of Superior Court. DeKalb police arrested Bishop at this home in Decatur, charging him with rape, false imprisonment, and 3 counts of sexually explicit transmission.
He's extremely loving, extremely forgiving, literally wouldn't hurt a fly.
This man, who goes by Captain Ace, says he's part of the group Carbonnation. Ace calls Bishop the head of the international organization.
This is one of the most troubling experiences I've ever had.
All right, I'm sorry. Hold on. I had to cut that off real quick for you guys. I just had to call complete BS for you guys. So this guy right here who's talking, the guy on the left, his name is True, but now he goes by the name Ace. And then the guy to the right of him, his name is Solar. So these two guys are members of this cult. They've been in this cult for I don't think from the very beginning, but they've been in the cult for quite a while, several years now. And so True, the guy on the left talking, this guy is like anyone who really follows this cult knows that he's a major ride or die. When I say Stockholm syndrome at its finest, oh my goodness, these people with the Stockholm syndrome is just at the worst level. This is why you see when he speaks about him, he says these things that are so amazing and praises him, but it really doesn't fit the individual. Forgiving or loving or what was the thing he said? I forgot what he said. I know he said he's very loving. This guy wouldn't hurt a fly. Are you kidding me? This guy beats women in the cult. So yeah, I just had to add that little side note real quick for you guys so you could see just how brainwashed people in cults can be.
The man that most people refer to as Nature Boy, I refer to him as God. I believe that he is God.
Ace described Carbonnation as a religious philosophy based on science, focused on living a life of principles and morals. He joined the group about 4 years ago, and now he and 13 others live at this home under the guidance of Bishop.
That's a nice house.
I met him online.
Some nice houses in Georgia.
Contact with him. I seen that he was teaching knowledge that was superior to any other scholar or any other leader that I had encountered at the time.
Neighbors like Patrick Henderson are concerned about Bishop's online presence. That's what police say tipped them off to the alleged crimes.
I mean, obviously something like that is concerning, especially when you have kids around. So it's just a matter of now doing the research, kind of digging in and finding out.
I mean, 13 people live in this one house.
The totality of everything going on.
You know,
Anderson
it's a
says
little
he could not
funny.
believe a report
If you
multiple
watch their
counts
videos,
down
you
the
would
street from him.
see, like,
Ace and others in the group say they're fighting that notion.
I would tell them to reassess their perspective.
huh. If you watch the videos, you would see people in that neighborhood complains a whole lot about this group because of the fact that they would make a lot of noise. There was a lot of them. They'd be outside, they'd be in the backyard, but it was too much and it was disturbing to a point where people would hear fighting and screaming and crying and all that stuff, and they would call the cops constantly. So I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't even be able to tell or notice that you have a group like this that lives in your neighborhood. Maybe you didn't know they're a cult, but this is why I say, like, we always got to be aware of our surroundings. We can't be so easy to trust and to believe, that everyone's nice or everyone's just sweet. Like, you got to really be aware of your surroundings and the people who are being nice to you. Just really pay extra attention. Not saying walk around, not trust anybody, but just be careful and be aware. That's all. All right, so I'm just going to quickly get into some of these traits I have written down about him. Again, I'm no expert at all, but I have been watching online a lot of videos about this cult and really paying attention to a lot of things. And so these are things that I pick up. Short-tempered. Nature Boy is very short-tempered. He will get upset at the drop of a dime. He is extremely possessive. He's very controlling over the women. The women in the group are not allowed to think for themselves at all. I mean, none of them can, but especially the women, because they're expected to do everything that will make him happy and make his life the easiest convenience possible. So he's very possessive. He ping-pongs the women in the group back and forth. So they're sleeping with him, then they're sleeping with the other men, and they're sleeping with him again. And all of a sudden, they're his wife. He likes to control everyone and everything. To him, it's like a game of chess. He literally controls everything. He's very manipulative. Manipulation is something that we see in all cults. Pretty much every cult on every level. It could be the most extreme cult, such as this one, or like Jim Jones, or it could be something a little bit more still bad, but not as extreme, at least not physically, something more moderate, low level on the spectrum, like the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Mormons or the ICOC cult, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, cult leaders still carry the same very similar characteristics. So manipulation is the top number one, I would say, red flag that you will see in characteristic within a cult when you first meet the members and the leaders, because again, manipulation and narcissism goes hand in hand. Another trait that I see about Nature Boy is that he is an opportunist. He will take any opportunity he can if that means that it's going to either A, bring him more money, or B, bring him more attention and following. People who are going to nod their head to everything he says, agree with everything he says, like and love everything he does and says. He takes everything as an opportunity to just look better, to feel better, and to make himself seem like he is really better than what he is as a person and as a group in general, because this then eventually brings in people. Yeah, there's going to be people that's going to be like, nah, I'm good. I'm not trying to join no group. But there's always those people who are like, you know what? Y'all seem pretty cool. I think I'm going to join your group. I think I want to get to know what you guys are all about. That's the opportunity right there. And that is something that a lot of cult leaders do have on every level when it comes to the extremes. A jealous nature, again, that goes with possessiveness and the short-temperedness. That is very abusive. Those are just signs of abuse, period. Like if you are in a relationship with somebody who's possessive, they're controlling, they're physically abusive, emotionally, verbally abusive, mentally abusive, they have a very jealous nature about themselves, you need to that's a huge red flag. Like you need to really be careful with that. That's not okay. That is not normal in a relationship. That is not how it should be. So man or woman, it doesn't matter. You need to really be careful with that. But this is basically what he is. He has a very jealous nature. So because of that, he will not allow his members to communicate or have relationships with anyone outside of the cult, including their family. A lot of the women in the group, I don't know if I mentioned this already, and I think I probably did. but they basically have left their kids that they had outside of the cult. They've left their own kids to be in this cult, to be with this waste of a human being. He's a complete waste of space. They have left their kids for this person. So that right there shows you just how extreme the jealousy can be. Some cult leaders will be so possessive over their members that they will find any excuse, any way to get the members to isolate themselves from those who really and truly love them. The cult that I was in did the same. It wasn't extreme like this one, but they did have their own way of trying to keep people in a sense. But people still got to be with their family. It wasn't like there was any major repercussions, but when it came to friendships, they controlled that a lot more. And this is something that you're going to see in a lot of cults, because you can't be influenced by anyone who is on the outside. You can only be influenced by those that are within the group. Grandiose personality. So I think this is just really a part of his mental illness and his undiagnosed mental illness, which without a doubt he does have, and his narcissism. He thinks very extremely highly of himself. I think that cults that are like really extreme, like where you drink the Kool-Aid and they have these extreme ways of controlling people and manipulating people, and people willing to die for this person who they believe is some god. A lot of those cult leaders do have some like mental illness issue or some severe undiagnosed narcissistic personality disorder. And the grandiose personality is a part of some narcissism, some forms of narcissism, because there are different forms, different types of narcissism. Nature Boy definitely illustrates that 100%. Like this guy, he thinks so freaking highly of himself. He believes that he's the Messiah. He thinks that he is the black God. He thinks he is God's gift to all creation. He thinks everyone finds him attractive. He really does. Like he's beyond conceited and cocky is just a small word of a definition to use for what this guy really thinks of himself. And then because of that, he also is very entitled because, like I said before, he's self-absorbed. He's cocky. He thinks that the world owes him the world, and he doesn't feel like he has to work for anything. He thinks people need to give it all to him, and he needs to just take it, and he can give whatever treatment he wants to give. But the minute that you try to give it back, he can't take it. He can just dish it. So that's where that entitlement comes from. Now, when it comes to other cults that are not as extreme as Carbonnation, yes, there is a sense of entitlement with a lot of these leaders as well. I know personally for me, the religious cult that I was in, that cult, the leaders, I felt like some of the leaders thought that they were above. I did have some leaders that I liked, and then there were some leaders, some pastors in my church that I'm like, this individual really thinks that he is more above. He thinks that he's better. He thinks that nobody could tell him anything different. And therefore, the members will treat the leader as such, and that will make the person in the cult who is thinking about leaving feel like they're alone. That's when you feel like no one else gets you, because that's where everyone's groupthink mentality is formed and it comes into play. Let's see. Almost done with this little list. Nature Boy cannot accept any kind of accountability, responsibility, criticism, nothing, none of the above. He will not accept any kinds of criticism when anyone says anything to him. He will constantly go ahead and like he'll say something and then he'll kind of like pull it back. Or he'll do something and then he'll pull it back. But it's like he doesn't realize he's doing it. He just contradicts himself constantly. He'll say you shouldn't do something, and the next day he's doing it, and he'll make an excuse as to why it's okay that he does it. Or he'll deny that he ever said anything about it to begin with. Like he'll do or say something and then get confronted and then deny it. And this is what a lot of people do when it comes to narcissism. And cult leaders do as well, which is why they feel entitled. They feel like it's okay for me to do and say these things, but you cannot. You have to follow me and do what I say. And if I say I want to do it and I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, but you can't do it. This is just the pyramid. This is why a lot of the members will see the leader of the group, whether it's a serious cult, extreme cult, or a more moderate cult, it doesn't matter. The members will always see the leader of that group as more high above everyone else. Even if they low-key, they might not say it. Like the church I was in, you know, people didn't actually say, oh, our pastor is above everybody else. But when I decided to leave and I mentioned some errors of my pastor, I was basically told to shut up, because they know more than me, because those are the pastors. So that's a perfect example of how they will kind of the members themselves will place this high importance, this high significance upon this person who is leading the group. And that's why they feel like they know more than anyone else. Nature Boy thinks that he has a special knowledge. He knows something. He has a special key to something nobody else has. This is very typical, you'll find within pretty much any kind of cult. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the cult traits within this cult. And this is just really quick. And then I want to go over a quick little article that I have that I found. All right, so the traits that are within this cult, within Carbonnation, these are things that are basically going to sound very familiar to you. You have experienced it. You have heard about it. It's in other cults as well. It's in religious cults as well. Groupthink. Groupthink is something that no cult can operate without. Every cult needs groupthink, because obviously in order for a cult to operate, everyone needs to think the same, do the same, be the same, look the same, act the same, dress the same, talk the same, smile the same, breathe the same air at the same time. Like literally, you cannot be an individual. There is no sense of individuality. Your sense of individuality pretty much becomes stripped from you the moment you walk through the door and you allow them to love bomb the hell out of you. This entire cult has groupthink. They all have to think the same way. Anyone who steps out of that is going to see some repercussions. And because of the fact that this cult is very toxic and is dangerous, the repercussions can be pretty damaging. It could, God forbid, but I feel like it's good he stays locked up, because eventually it's going to become fatal. Like he could actually permanently hurt someone with the type of abuse that goes on within this cult. And you don't always need to see physical abuse to know that that person is getting the crap beaten out of them every day and night. All right, so let's see. Cult traits. Another cult trait they have is manipulation. So even though, yeah, the cult leader is manipulative, like I said before, it's very typical that you'll find that the members of the cult are going to kind of unknowingly mimic or take up characteristics and different personality traits of the leader, who is usually a narcissist. So yes, the cult members are going to be very manipulative. And in this cult, from videos I've seen them be manipulative with one another, you know, saying things to one another that doesn't make any damn sense just because it's something that their leader would say, as a way to try and remind them and snap them like back into it. Like, hello, we're all supposed to think the same. We're all supposed to do the same thing. What are you doing? You're stepping out of line. You need to get back in line. Okay, they mask their true emotions. So this is something that happens in pretty much every cult as well. In every cult, you're going to find that the members are going to mask how they really feel, because it's almost like you're not allowed to really speak your true feelings, share your true thoughts, or show your true individuality. You'll be criticized for it. You'll be criticized for it. You'll probably be nailed to the cross for it. In this cult, no one is allowed to show their true emotions. Like I said before, he refers to it as demons. I think I mentioned this in part 1 probably, but Nature Boy refers to it as controlling your demons, which is really controlling your emotions. That's really saying don't allow your emotions to show. In the Christian cult, you might hear it being called keeping a soft heart, or staying silent, allowing God to speak, keeping a silent heart, turning the other cheek. You know, anytime you want to express anger or frustration, oh no, you must turn the other cheek. You must have a heart of, I forget what they would call. They would tell me that I had a heart of rebellion. I was like, what are you talking about? Just because I would speak up for myself. You can't do that. You just can't. You know, you you'll be shut down. And thankfully I wasn't in a cult like this. I couldn't see myself being stuck in something like this, but you know, we can't ever judge or make any kind of assumptions. But the cult I was in, it wasn't as bad, but we were not allowed to show our emotions. And like I said, that's something you're going to find in every cult on every level. Another thing you're going to find in every cult on every level is that you are to only follow the leader. Everybody is following the leader. Everybody is doing what the leader says, no matter how much they may try and deny it, is very evident and very crystal clear. It's like looking at a cloud and saying that puffy cloud is white, and then a person saying, no, it's not, it's black. And then they keep telling you it's black, but you physically see it's like, it's clearly white. You know, when it comes to these cults, the worst things will happen to the cult and they will deny it completely to the fullest, because they have to follow the leader. They have to give praise to the leader. They have to worship the leader. And if they admit that the leader sucks and is abusive and that this is a cult, then hey, you know what's going to happen? They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're going along with the world, and they're not taking up for their leader. And the leader is of utmost importance. Another trait is tolerating abuse. This is a part of tolerating abuse, the fact that cult members will take up for the leader. And in this cult, they constantly, as you saw in the video I showed you, they're taking up for this guy, and he treats them like crap. Like, he literally is on camera, has shown himself on camera smack one of the other male members for something so stupid. I'm sorry, I'm gassy. I'm trying not to burp out loud, so I'm trying to like keep it in my throat. But you know, it's really sad. It's really sad that there are cults like this, that there are groups like this, and that there are people that are willing to do things like this. And there are people that are willing to allow and tolerate the abuse and allow them, the leader, to isolate them from their family, which is the last trait that I have written down. Actually, no, I have another trait: us versus them mentality. For I forget, the us versus them mentality is. So it's always like this in a cult. Everyone moves the same, everyone does the same thing, and everyone thinks the same way, right? And then the outside world is basically just like a bunch of people with sticks and shields and torches ready to come into your group and to set everything on flames and on fire, and to just completely make your entire kingdom of beauty and your honor to God and your king, your special place in heaven is gonna come down to flames because everyone on the outside is out to get you. This is exactly how cults think. Cults think it's us versus them. We are here to do God's work, and everyone out there is just trying to get us. In Carbonnation, this is how they think. They really think that people are just trying to get them. They honestly believe that people are celebrating Nature Boy being locked up as a way of saying that they just want to be out to get him. No, he obviously has made enough people pissed off, because he does a lot of real messed up and evil things. He does have a lot of evil intention, and he's even admitted to being able to see himself possibly snap. I've heard him say that in the video, but let me just say allegedly, but I know I heard him say in the video. And anyone who has followed this cult knows, like, they're very toxic and it's very dangerous. And you just always have to be very careful. All right, so I just want to go over this little article that I found on this website called Psychology Today. And it's called 9 Ways Many Narcissists Behave Like Cults. So I'm just going to run through them real quick. But here are the little key points here that are written. Individuals high in narcissism, like cult leaders, often inflate their own sense of importance and behave in ways that are destructive to others. Point 2, similarities between narcissists and cult leaders include a tendency to lie and turn others against each other for their own ends, along with little tolerance for dissent or dissent. And point 3, key point 3, to escape the negative influence of a narcissist, be mindful of what you share with them and set firm boundaries about what you will and won't be, how you will and won't be treated. So yes, this is very true in a narcissist. a relationship, the narcissist tends to try and put other people against each other. And when you have cult leaders who are narcissists, they'll do the same as well. Nature Boy is very well known for that. He will make the members fight each other. He's had members jump each other, jump other members. He will have a member go reach over and smack one another, things like that. And again, that's just like the really extreme ends. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna skim through. The strategies many narcissists instinctively use to get their way in personal relationships could be strikingly similar to the coercive tactics used by destructive cult leaders to indoctrinate and control followers. So number one, cult leaders act larger than life. They claim to be innately good, possessing special wisdom, answerable to no one, with no one above them. 100%. We all know how true that is. Number two, cult members are expected to subjugate their own needs for the good of the leader or cause. Members are told that what the cult wants them to do is for their own good, even if it is self-destructive. My daughter almost scared the crap out of me. I completely forgot that she was sitting in the living room. Number three, an us versus them attitude prevails. Outsiders are viewed as dangerous or as potential enemies. This turns members' focus outward. Distracting from problems within the cult, viewing others as enemies can be used to justify extreme actions because of the dangers that outsiders pose. This is all cults. I've definitely experienced that. So far, I've experienced 1, 2, and 3 that I've just read. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have too. Number 4, feelings are devalued, minimized, or manipulated. Shame, guilt, coercion, and fear appeals keep members in line. They're going to try to place a lot of fear on you when you decide to leave a cult. So like in the religious cult, the biggest fear they'll try to place is hell. You're going to go to hell if you leave this group. You need to be in this group. Members are taught to discount their own intuition and healthy instincts in favor of the leader or cult's teachings. Over time, members can lose touch with their healthy habits and innate values. Number 5, questioning and dissent are not tolerated. Having doubts about the leader or cult is considered shameful or sinful. Yes. Members are told that doubting or dissenting indicates that there is something wrong or bad with a member. This is 1,000,000% true. When I was in the ICOC and I had decided that I wanted to leave my discipling partner, I'll say. My discipling partner, she actually made me feel really bad about it. And they said that I was a cause of dissent. I was causing division within the group because of the fact that I was questioning the intentions and like certain behaviors and actions of the leaders, as well as some of the members. So this is definitely something you're going to see, which is why a lot of cults will kick you out or will let you leave and completely cut you off. Like they'll tell everybody to cut you off because they don't want you to cause any quote unquote dissent or any division and cause anyone to want to leave with you. All right, number 6, the ends justify the means. The rightness of the leader, quote unquote, rightness of the leader, and cult justifies behavior that violates most people's standards for ethics and honesty. Let's see. In a cult, anything goes. Number 7. Closeness to the cult and leader is rewarded while independence is punished. Yes. Temporary ostracism is used to punish behavior that doesn't conform to group rules. Members fear being estranged from the group and losing the promised protection and benefits offered by the leader and the group. This is why a lot of people who do leave a cult on all levels of when it comes to the extremes from moderate to severe, people are afraid to leave. They're afraid they're going to be punished if they're independent, but if they stay within the group, then there's like all these promises of heaven and riches and all these amazing things are going to happen if you stick here by us. You're good with us. Number 8, lies are repeated so often they seem true. The cult leader cannot be wrong and never needs to apologize. That's without a doubt. It's like, that's a given. And then the last one is number 9. Communication is coercive or deceptive. Things are not always what they seem. This fosters confusion, leaving members vulnerable. When confused, members seek solace in the aura of certainty the leader seems to possess. So if you notice similarities between such cult-like techniques in your relationship with a narcissistic person, keep these things in mind. Number 1, cults and narcissists use powerful forms of manipulation, but there is nothing magical about what they do. Understanding their methods can allow you to avoid being taken in. This is why I always say it's important for you to learn and to research, really learn and research everything you can about cults. This is why I like to learn about all type of cults, religious cults, polygamous cults, evil cults, crazy cults, all type of cults. If someone is narcissistic, be mindful of sharing personal information with that person because it can be used against you. Yes, narcissists are known for taking the information and turning it around and using it completely against you. In any adult relationship, you have the right to confront, prevent, or remove yourself from manipulation or coercive control at any time. You do not need to give a reason, and you do not need the other person's permission. 100%. And I really wish that the women in this Carbonnation cult would listen and follow that and know that for themselves, because they literally need permission for everything from this guy. Like, they can't just decide on a Saturday morning they're just going to get in the car and go to the mall. They have to actually ask him, oh, Baba, can we go to the mall today? Like, what type of, my door is nearby. Let me not curse. Yeah, it don't make no type of sense. Another thing to remember is that in any adult relationship, you have the right to ask questions, make your own decisions, and honor your values and goals. Whatever you want to do, you freaking do it in any adult relationship. All right, and the last one says, nobody has a right to tell you what to think or how to feel. That is correct. Nobody can tell you what to think, how to feel. No one can minimize your experience. No one could tell you what you did or didn't experience. Let somebody try and tell me how I feel or what I did or didn't experience. Please, somebody tell me. I have had people do that many times, and that only made me feel more stronger in the sense of learning to really trust myself even more and trust what I'm thinking and feeling and trusting my intuition over what someone else might say or assume about me. And this is the whole thing, is that when you leave a cult, you want to really learn how to trust yourself and your own intuition, because if not, then anybody could just come by and tell you how you need to think and feel and what you need to believe. And this is the reason why I personally, though I don't have any huge big vendetta against religion or Christianity, but I personally don't have any plans at all or any interest or desire to be a part of organized religion, because of the simple fact, and I'm not saying organized religion is a cult, because I know some people say that, but I don't know. I just see things a little different. I won't want to take it that far, but you know what? I just feel like you need to really follow and do what you feel. And in organized religion, you can't, which is, I guess, why people say that it's similar to a cult. Because in organized religion, you can't just do and say and think how you feel. Like, you have to, represent yourself a certain way, which is understandable. And if that's something that you agree to and something you want to do, then of course, I think by all means you should do it. But if it's not, like in my case, it's not something I want to do anymore, which is why I left Christianity a couple of years ago. I choose not to be a part of any religion. I like my freedom to choose and to think and to feel and to learn and to grow. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The same way there's nothing wrong with choosing to you know, to actually be a part of organized religion. But what is a problem is when you decide that you want to be a part of a cult. This is why you need to really know what a cult is, so that when you do join a cult, you'll know it's a cult. Because if you know it's a cult, you're not going to join. Or if you know that it's a cult and you know what a cult is and how it affects people, you're not going to join. And that's just something I wish I knew. But then again, not really, because then I would have never came up with this channel to begin with, and, you know, learn all the things that I've been able to learn and stuff like that. But anyway, that's all I have for you for this video right here. So I hope you guys have a little bit of a better understanding and see the similarities and understand how, like, even though all cults are different, some could be more extreme than others, they still carry the same narcissistic traits, and they still can really affect you. Yes, physical abuse affects you physically, and it is very emotionally damaging. But verbal and emotional and mental abuse sometimes could be a lot worse, because those are scars that you have to heal from on your own. You need to actually heal. Physical scars from being physically abused heals on its own without you putting effort. Doesn't mean it's okay. That's still terrible, of course. But what I'm saying is that don't think that just because the group you're in is not physically abusing you, or the church or whatever you're a part of is not physically hurting you, is not physically harming you, don't believe that because of that, that means that they are any less worse than any other cult out there that may be doing so. Because even though they may not be physically hurting you, they're not physically hurting you, but they're hurting you in other ways, and you don't see that, and it doesn't affect you or take place until you decide to leave. And I'm telling you this from experience. All right, so I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up so I can get back up there on the algorithm and bring this channel back afloat again. Put out the awareness so people can know, you know, what's out there and what to really be careful with. Also, make sure that you're keeping up with me. I do post every day on my Instagram. I have reels, and I also have my little posts and stuff like that. I like to write my little posts, and send me a DM if you want to just pop in and say, hey, what's up, Tina? But if you do want some real one-on-one advice, I do offer one-on-one coaching. So you can look down in the description box. I have my link to my one-on-one coaching for anyone who's recently either left religion or left a cult. I can help you with that. And if you did leave a very toxic cult, or if you were a part of the ICOC cult, then I do have a Beautiful Souls Facebook group. The link is down below as well for that too. All right, so guys, I love you guys all so much. I really, really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.